Hi, welcome to Learning with Boys. Today I have a food video for you. I have a meal that I'm going to share with you. It's a little bit different than one I've done before. And then I also am going to show you my grocery haul for this week. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. I have graduated too, and this school year I have a 6th grader and an 11th grader. And I do enjoy sharing homeschool past and present videos, but we are also a gluten-free family. So I do share some food videos with you just to hope to encourage you, because I know when I first started out on this journey of gluten-free over 10 years ago, probably 11 now, it's just hard when you have kids just to find things that are a little bit more realistic. It's easier now. It is easier now. But I just thought I would share what we eat, because I really am in a position where I can't make the food complicated, but I want to make it good and tasteful for my family. So let's turn the camera around and I will share our dinner from last night. Okay, here is one of the recipes that we really do enjoy. I do not make it very often, but we are snowed in this week, so this sounds warm and cozy. It is our yeast rolls. That was the ingredients that it calls for. I will link the recipe below. I am doubling it, so I am throwing some extra flour in there. Okay, that flour is just a gluten-free blend from Bob Red Mill. It actually also calls for some almond flour, not much, just I think it's 2/3 cup if you're not doubling it. So now it also calls for some psyllium husk. And I think I've watched this video and realized I don't think I put it in. And I did have a little trouble with it getting the dough texture just right. So I added in a little bit more flour and finally realized there was something I did not add. And that's what it was the psyllium husk. And I'm reading over these instructions, and the one reason she adds it in is it does help hold gluten-free flour together, and that's what I was missing. So I'm sort of glad I remembered, even though it was before I watched this video. But it does call for yeast because they are yeast rolls, so I'm getting those in. It actually calls for you to mix all the dry ingredients before the wet. So, and they did turn out, even though I added extra flour in the psyllium husk, a little bit too late. So, all right. Adding in the wet ingredients, which is just some water, a couple eggs because I doubled it, and apple cider vinegar, which I did not have, so I ended up using lemon juice. And then it also calls for butter. Once you get it all added in, you're supposed to let it mix on medium for about 6 minutes, I think. So I went over and started chopping up all my vegetables. I am going to make stew meat. I think I'm going to put the peppers in. Okay, is anybody else like me? Just sort of make it up as you go along and use what you have? Well, that's what I'm doing. So we're chopping up the peppers, and then I have potatoes, which I'm actually going to do something different with them. I'm not going to put them in the stew. Okay, back to the rolls. Now, I'm not showing you all the trouble I had of adding in some extra flour and more psyllium husk. I finally got it to a texture that was good enough, but it definitely was different. It was not as thick and forming as it should be. I'm supposed to be using a big scoop, which I don't have. I had one, but it broke. So I'm just using this ladle, and then I'll show you here in a minute, in a greased pan. I'm going to let them rise for an hour. Okay, here they are. I'm going to put a towel over them and set my timer for an hour. Chopping up some onions. I am going to fry up some potatoes. So I'm just getting out my iron skillet here, putting some onion in there. Quick view of that. But actually, here's the beef stew. I'm going to brown that a little bit with the onion before I put the potatoes in there, because I'm going to put the beef stew in the Instant Pot. So once I get it browned a little bit, I just need to get it into the Instant Pot there. And then I'll also add a few other things. Okay, I got the garlic salt out. That usually goes in everything I cook for some reason. And I'm going to add some regular salt. I don't measure. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you exact. And here is the peppers. I only use probably a little bit more than half of them. I'm going to save the rest. Might put them in some type of egg bake or something. And then I have some chicken broth that I had cooked up a few weeks ago. And I'm just going to almost, not quite, cover the beef. And then I'm just going to stick it in there for, I think it was 35 minutes. It was actually a good time. The meat was perfect. So, okay, back to those potatoes. Didn't even clean this out. Gonna leave the onion and the meat juice in there. And I'm gonna get the pan warmed up for the potatoes. Okay, pouring the potatoes in. Pan's nice and hot. This is actually the first time I have done potatoes. I haven't used the cast iron pan in a little bit, and I've not always had one, so I forget about it sometimes, but I've been using it a little bit more lately. Let me know if you use one and if you have any hints or tips. So I added more oil, definitely a lot of salt, ended up putting a little bit of Italian seasoning in there, and put a glass lid on it to help them cook a little bit faster. Like I said, I'm just sort of making this up as I go along. Okay, here are the potatoes. I actually just tried them and they're really, really good. And I did put salt and oil and a little Italian seasoning in there when they were like halfway cooked. Here are the rolls. They did rise, so the texture is still not as firm. But on the other hand, I'm hoping maybe they'll be a little bit more moist. So we'll find out. I'm gonna cook them at 400. I need to check the time on that. I have green beans in the oven. I'm gonna pull those out and switch this out. Okay, the rolls are out. Potatoes, the green beans, my tasting plate, and here's the meat. So, and I just ate some of that and it tasted pretty good. I'm excited to eat the rolls, but they just came out of the oven and I'm supposed to let them cool off for 15 minutes. So I'll let you see a plate that I make for my guys. Okay, I think it all turned out pretty good. My husband was happy and the boys ate it all, so. Okay, here is my Walmart grocery haul. I'm gonna start down here. I did get bananas, some salad items, some chips, some popcorn. That bag is more of a treat just for today. I did buy some tomato sauce. I am completely out and I am going to be making chili, one of my items this week. I bought some bacon. The meat, we had purchased quite a bit to fill some of our freezer in the early fall, actually at the farmer's market. It was just ground beef. He was selling it in boxes of that. But we are out, so I'm not even sure how long this is gonna last. Maybe the week, maybe a week and a half, because I am gonna make chili, some mini meatloaves, and probably something else. I do have chicken and a little bit of pork. So now the cheese, the block cheese I will use, like I can make macaroni cheese. I make my own cheese sauce. I also put cheese in the mini meatloaves, and for chili, gotta have shredded cheese for that. Then butter and sour cream, cottage cheese. The cottage cheese I use when I make my panned pancakes that I can also use to make sandwiches with. If you've watched any of my videos, I've made that a few times. Gluten-free granola bars that are protein. I'm thinking about my one that actually has type 1 and celiac when I purchased these. He is in college right now, so it was just one of those things that he could keep with him. If he has to have sugar, the protein, a little bit of protein helps. So, all right. I purchased these for my husband and I. They're a little bit more low carb and lunch meat, and then bread. I do have probably about another loaf of bread, but the yeast rolls I made, one of my boys likes me to make sandwiches out of those, and really my husband probably would too. And I have enough yeast to make that again if I need to. So milk, half and half, and whipping cream for my husband and I's coffee. And that is contact cleanser back there. I do wear contacts, and shampoo. This is more for the boys. V8 energy drinks. I have a couple boys that drink that. And then chocolate chips. Now I have been making some muffins for breakfast. I'm wanting to make those again. and the mini chips work better for that. I do have regular chocolate chips. These are more like Walmart's brand of Lily chocolate chips, the no sugar ones. And so I wanted to get some for my husband and I'm hoping to make something this week for us. Now, I do want to say I do have like gluten-free noodles. I have rice, like I may make rice when I make the chili and things like that. And I have noodles for the macaroni and cheese. I may make that one evening. And sometimes I combine that with meat. So, and milk. I don't know if I mentioned milk, but I think it's obvious that it's there. All right, so that is my Walmart haul. All right, I hope that video was fun to watch, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe and join us. I need to get this stuff put away and start our day. I actually took this grocery shopping time this morning, so we're gonna work on some school here in a little bit. So, all right, I do hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.